All right, welcome. Hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully I tried to reset the mic. Maybe it's not as loud as it sometimes is. Welcome to trivia, or I forget if we're on the ninth or 10th time. Uh, for coming in is actually exploding, so forgive me for that, everyone. Our Moon, good to have you back in the house. Scratch and PPA is back from vacation in Italy. He's been back actually everywhere I've been. I see him for a few days now, so likely well rested, and he's got some new content coming up on his channel from that vacation. He put a small amount on there already, if anybody hasn't already seen it. Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek. Good to have you here on Stable TV. Thanks for coming in. And I mixed up the categories a small bit. The question should be new, so we should be good to go. I started with the wrong category here. It doesn't matter. So we'll start with literature, and then we'll move on to a few of the familiar ones we've been at the last few weeks. Jaden, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, thank you. Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek. There's somebody who's been an incredibly supportive creator on all of my channels, as a matter of fact. That's Joe. Sean Barnes, good to have you here. Andy Heinrich has been with us for what I believe is every week. So thanks, everybody, for joining again. Yeah, for the life of me, I can't figure out why that microphone wants to scream at all of us, but I'll try to just keep my voice a little less hype, and that might help us out. Maddie J88, good to have you here. We'll play for 2 hours. I think I've got 7 or 8 categories ready to go, and hopefully everybody will enjoy it. So each category will have 10 questions like we've been doing. Oh, our moon was camping last week. Interesting. Summer's a good time for that, of course. I haven't been camping a long time, but yeah, hopefully you managed to keep the bugs away. I'm whining and complaining all week this week because we're having this incredibly weird year. I'm in the Toronto area, and there seems to be bees everywhere you go. An abundant number of them. St. Louis 50, good to see you in the house. Sorry, St. Louis by 50. Good to see you in the house. And thanks everybody for joining. We're going to get to our first game in a moment. Oh, the bugs are lower. That's good. Yeah, the technology in the new bug devices has been helpful. I've seen some good stuff lately. Who wrote A Song of Ice and Fire fantasy novel series? And thank you, Scratch and PPA, especially for catching everything. I did another stream this morning. A couple of our friends from Australia are in town, and they've been on vacation for about 5 weeks between the United States and Canada. So I met up with them today, but Scratch and PPA was able to catch that. And then forgive me, I didn't catch your premiere. Scratch and PPA premieres every Tuesday at 12:15 Eastern. Rory Jean, good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. And let's see how we're doing. Catherine KK is back in the house. Thanks for being here. I always learn a lot when we do these, and you have to forgive me if the questions are duplicated from any other week as I let the internal system handle it. And then George R.R. Martin, interesting, A Song of Ice and Fire. Saying that out loud so I can hopefully retain the information. Anthony Michaels, good to see you in the house. Yeah, the mic is terrible. I don't know what it is. I'm using the same mic I use in StreamYard, Streamlabs, OBS, everything else for recording. And it's a Razer Kyle. It works perfectly, but I think the system here on live reacting just doesn't seem to like it. Which author and poet famously wrote the line, "The female of the species is more deadly than the male"? Unstable TV is trigger happy today. They're right on it. That's Danielle and James. They've got a couple of channels, actually. They're doing extremely well. They're unstable TV channels, over 20,000. And thanks, everybody, for playing along. Overtired right now, yeah, no doubt. Unstable TV comes from Ireland, so they got to be 5 hours ahead of us, 3 in the morning over there. Rudyard Kipling, is that how we pronounce that? And Sean got it. Wow, Sean Barnes, the solo winner on that one. Oh goodness, Unstable TV. What is Ron Weasley's middle name? There's so much to learn on the Kevin K channel. Almost amazing. It's good to see Scratch and PPA playing along too. Oh, I keep forgetting to turn the robots down. I gotta calm those things down. It's fine for trivia because we're hammering the chat with answers, but those robots, for those of you with YouTube channels, you really got to think about how often they're coming in. They start driving us bananas after a while. Bilius, is that how we pronounce that? And St. Louis by 50 and Lori Jean got that. Ended up with a decent breakfast today. I know we got a few Canadian friends in the house. So these couple of Australian vloggers came up, and they tend to do urbex and paranormal and explorations of abandoned locations and things like that. We went for breakfast at Sunset Grill, which is almost like a franchise or chain type of thing, but you do at least sit down and have a decent meal. They do a good job over there. So started the day with a decent breakfast. Just Jason Keto, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. St. Louis by 50. I always wonder how many people are guessing in the chat on most of the stuff. I wouldn't have known any of the answers so far, I'll admit that. I learn as much as everybody or more in these. Just Jason Keto is actually motivating me to make better decisions. Not every day, all day. Today, this morning, I had breakfast, and that was, it was a decent meal, because they always do a good job at this place, but it was, French toast and eggs and slathered with syrup and everything else. But to try to make up for that tonight, we just got in, and I just ate literally some olives, some pickles, some, literally a can of tuna and beets. I gotta find a better way to eat beets. What is Harry Potter's dad's name? This is one I've never known. I didn't follow the Harry Potter series. Even when the kids were growing up, my son, my nephew, my niece, I'm just trying to stay away from the chocolate, or at least try to stay away from so much of it. Most of you know I eat a ridiculous amount of all kinds of terrible things all the time. And about a month ago, if not a little bit more, I started to eat some of these, I know it's ridiculous, these canned vegetables or whatever. I like olives. Pickles I've always liked, especially Vlasic ones. There's not much in the world that I don't like that is typical, or at least in North America. And but I started these things. Beets are supposed to be really good for you, and by filling the stomach with a little bit of this stuff, it'll keep me away from the craving for chocolate, because otherwise I'll just reach for it constantly, especially sitting at the desk. Harry Potter. I just caught that, Andy. I wondered what you were saying. That's funny. Unstable TV. Yeah, you guys got that. Oh my goodness, St. Louis, wow. Jane Eyre, is that how we pronounce that? Was written by what author? Forgive me if I mispronounce these things. And also, I'll apologize, I should have double-checked the answers. I thought I did, but I missed that one. Whenever we have these punctuations, it sends the computer system into a frenzy. Ace Flaw 1, Andy, good to see you here. Yeah, trivia, I promise you, I learn as much as everybody or more when we do these. But there's a reason why I'm doing all of this. There's a reason why I wanted to experiment with these trivia games. And one of the things that I've been doing is playing around with Canva and ChatGPT. So firing out a bunch of trivia questions, which are not included in these games. These are right out of their own system, which I think draws off ChatGPT anyway. But I wanted to experiment and see how we can plug into ChatGPT by drawing out information and then plug into Canva to spit out videos. You see a lot of people doing these things where like, oh, I started a channel, I got 1 million followers in a month. Okay, none of that's true. But if you look at how they're doing some of this stuff, they're using these AI tools. And I think it's kind of cool. What was the last message of the dolphins in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Again, this is something else I haven't seen. Canva and ChatGPT a lot too, eh? Motivation from the weightlifting geek. Canadian Family Life, Tiffany, good to see you here. Thank you for coming in. She just let me know her husband started his own channel as well. So we got more content from New Brunswick coming our way soon enough. And Just Jason Keto, Jesse Miller. There was a few people hanging out with me last week for several hours in the... I used to be a DJ, and I'm pretty much ready to hang up the headphones once and for all now. But last weekend I did another stint for the weekend. And a few creators hung out with me for hours while I streamed it. But that was a lot of fun, so I appreciate that too. Yeah, we got quite a few people getting quite a few of these answers. Sean and Ara always up there with Andy. We got a few more to go here in literature, and then we'll mix things up. We'll go to general knowledge next, maybe. In the book series Odd Thomas, Danny Jessup has what genetic disease? I'll let you guys answer that. I could probably only pronounce one of them properly. Yeah, St. Louis, and thank you for that, by the way. Forgive me, I don't mean to miss anybody. Scratch and PPA supports every single thing that I do on every single channel that I touch. I don't know how he does it and why I would be so blessed to have a friend like this, but Scratch and PPA literally is there for me all the time. I know a lot of people are there as often as they can be, and I appreciate that too. I don't mean to leave anybody out. But also, I'll use the excuse I was distracted while I was doing that. Jewel in the kitchen, good to see you in the house. I did do I did DJ this weekend. It was a last-minute thing because they had a flaky DJ at a charity event that kind of was acting a little bit silly with text messages and stuff. So a few days before, we said, okay, just pull it. I got the sound system well enough in hand. We'll just fight our way through the night and be done with that. So I did do it again, but it wasn't appropriate to stream that. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. It's tough when you're not doing it all the time. In Little Women, which of the March sisters married Lori? When I was a full-time DJ and at it every single week for many, many years, it's easy to keep up with the music, and you don't get rusty and things like that. But I had to prepare for months. I'm making it sound more horrible than it was, but I probably spent at least a couple of hours a week for 2 months just in music alone, getting ready and finishing off buying more equipment for my sound system and all this stuff to prepare for that weekend. And it was distracting, to say the least. Fun, really fun, and I'm glad that we have it, because that's the first time I've got good quality content where I'm DJing in front of a crowd, and we learned something. Tea Time Adventures, good to see you here. Jeremy D-Day's in the house. I think he's got a third channel now. And we found out that AC/DC, both the song Shook Me All Night Long and Thunderstruck, will cause your stream to be blocked worldwide without exception. So I found that out quickly, and I'm probably still going to be dealing with copyright claims. I think I've got 81 of them right now in the background from those two streams. I'm going to have to probably continue to chop as time goes on. Which novel by John Grisham was conceived on a road trip to Florida while thinking about stolen books with his wife? Interesting. Hope I haven't missed anybody in the chat, but thanks everybody for being here, and thank you again, Joe in the kitchen. If anybody hasn't given a thumbs up, I'll appreciate those too, by the way. They really do help. And if anybody has the ability to share the stream on a social network or on your community tab, we're doing well with thumbs up. 24 thumbs up already, so thank you everyone. I'm glad everybody's enjoying these. And here we go. Oh, Camino Island. So St. Louis got that with Jewel and Catherine. I'm going to, we'll see the leaderboard in a second, and then we'll get to another category. But we got a long way to go today. We can stay up until another hour and a half or so if everybody would like. We usually go through 7 or 8 categories with 10 questions each. We'll take a 3-minute break. So if anybody needs to get up or get a snack, or St. Louis wants to get some chocolate donuts. And there we go, Sean Barnes. Wow, killing it with Andy Heinrich and Unstable TV. I don't know if that's Danielle or James or both of them together. So sometimes I guess this can be a team sport, right? Let's move to general knowledge. So I don't know where these questions are going to come from. It should be pretty sporadic. St. Louis, yeah. I was going on and on and on yesterday about the fact that the diet was going to start today, but I forgot about breakfast. I was going to go out with these couple of vloggers from Australia. So we did that this morning, and then the idea is you just push the line forward. So diet starts tomorrow. Joe Valdez, Video Game and Movie, thank you for coming over. And thank you, Tea Time Adventure, for that share. While I'm asking everybody to share, I should be doing the same thing myself here. I'll put it on Reddit. I have a subreddit for my other channel where everybody can post their videos as well. And we got 400 people over there, if you could believe it. I ended up last year in the top 9% of all people sharing on Reddit. Which I thought was a fun, unexpected accomplishment. And then, yes, hopefully everybody in Florida is staying safe. We got a few friends down there. The Stock Explorer is a dear friend. Destination Fun. Um, Scratch and PPA might be even more knowledgeable than me about some of our friends down there. I think I am Betty J. Gathers might be around there. Some of our friends, though, are in inland cities, of course, so not as much of a concern. Yeah, Jesse Miller. I have heard, especially from gaming channels, that some of the Reddit shares actually draw in a couple of people. And the way that Reddit seems to work is very much almost like it's not a search engine, but almost works in the way that if somebody happens to be on Reddit right now and either searching for or watching a certain subject, then if you post something that is in line with that, the system might recommend it next. It seems that way. We gotten a few people into different things from Reddit. Gaming seems to do the best, but I've heard it many times actually. Is that somebody in Florida, Araboon? I'm just curious. I'm just curious because I just mentioned that. Canadian Family Life is keeping up with a few people. Who's a co-founder of music streaming service Spotify? Oh, wow. I wonder if it's who I think it is here. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think I'm being tricked. Oh, I must be wrong. I'm curious to know the answer to this. I'm always interested in this stuff. Hilda DC, my dear friend, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Oh, Daniel Eck, is that how we pronounce that? I thought it might be Sean Parker, like Joe and Matty 88. Sorry, Matty J88. But I just think I wanted that to be it. Sean Parker founded Napster, by the way, for those of you old enough to know what Napster was. Which of the following is an existing family in The Sims? I played The Sims only a couple of times, but not enough to be able to know this. And then thank you, Hilda. Thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate every moment everybody can spend, even if you're just listening or watching in the background or running the stream. And again, those thumbs up really help, so I'll appreciate them, everyone, and shares, of course. Scratch and PP, are you guessing, or have you played the Sims? One thing I don't know about Scratch and PP is if he does any gaming or not. I don't know how he'd have time. He's supporting everybody on YouTube so much, literally seeming to be everywhere all the time. Scratch and PP is guessing all night. What happened to when in doubt choose C? I thought that was the thing. I remember that in high school. We used to have to fill out those exams where it runs through the computer and it's all multiple choice. And it's very important. So they say never leave an answer empty. If you're going to leave it empty, choose the third answer. Who's the founder of the Lego Group? I'm assuming that means the actual Lego company. Lego was my favorite thing growing up. I was so happy when they came out with the Lego video games. I still enjoy those today. When the kids are all growing up, I would always encourage video games over television. But when we would play, and we'd play and play and play. But one of the things I loved playing was like Lego Star Wars, especially, but Lego Batman and just about anything. The Lego video games force teamwork. So even if you have kids, whether they're friends or whether they're brothers or sisters or brother and sister, whatever it's going to be, cousins, anything else, they have no choice but to cooperate and help each other. So if one of them doesn't understand where they're going, the other one helps. If you haven't seen them, I love those games. Oh wow, St. Louis, yeah. Actually, we got a friend that drives a truck. World Spirit Productions is a YouTube channel, and the husband drives, the wife runs the books, but they stream usually with a multicam setup for hours on end, and she will build an entire Lego set while they drive. Yeah, I love Lego. I was blessed. My birthday is very close to Christmas. So when I was growing up, whether it was a matter of people feeling bad or whatever, because they were only buying me presents at one time of the year, and I grew up in a typical situation for somebody growing up in Toronto, I think. But I was blessed to have, grandparents and a couple of aunts and uncles and stuff. Not a huge family, but when they did get me things, they often got me the more elaborate stuff. So when I had Lego, instead of getting a spaceship, I got the space station. And the same thing was true for G.I. Joe. Instead of a G.I. Joe figure, I'd get a truck, or instead of a truck, I'd get the G.I. Joe base and stuff like that. So I was very lucky that way. According to Sherlock Holmes, if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the... I should know this, but I don't. I feel like I should know this, but I don't. So this general knowledge category is just a lot of mixed up types of questions and stuff. Then we'll move on to a real category afterwards. We're halfway through. Interesting. Yeah, I would have guessed, but at least now we know. Andy's always up there. Oh, here. See, here's another one. Forgive me for all that punctuation. I should have double-checked this better. I rushed again today. Oh, yeah. The New York Times slogan is, all the news that's fit to... we know this because we saw this question once before. I don't know if it was worded exactly this way, but we saw this in a previous edition of these trivia game streams over the last many weeks. There we go. Yeah, The usual suspects were all here that day, I think, when we saw this before. If I'm right, I think Andy, Matty J88, and R Moon were probably all there. Canadian Family Life and Catherine King KK came in the last several weeks. But I forget again if this is the 9th or 10th time, something like that. It's English, R Moon, but punctuation, especially ampersands and things like that, they ruin the computer thing. I got to go through and do like a find and replace. These questions are all drawn out of their internal AI system, which I insist is grabbing from ChatGPT. Whose grayscale face is on the Kappa emoticon? We call that emoticon or emoticon on Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, you're guessing. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, and the names they made are so similar too. It's easy to trip anybody up. So I'm curious to know on this particular question about Twitch, is anybody answering because they think they know, or is everybody guessing? And not exactly general knowledge. So Matty J88 and Joe Valdez, I wonder if they knew that or were guessing. Andy, yep. You and me both. Jeremy D-Day's guessing. Which country has the most Trappist breweries? Is that how we pronounce that? I bet if we asked that question on Jeff Spears and Cheers channel, we'd get an answer. Mark the Shark, good to see you in the house. Mark the Shark, guessing number 5 there is showing us he might be better at poker than trivia. Mark the Shark does some online poker on his channel. I haven't played again in a long time. I'm almost feeling like it's a year. Kristen and Kira and I were going to play poker. Sometimes we play just for fun after dinner for a little while on this now. We're going to do it the other day, but we went for ice cream instead. I used to play online poker every week for a long time. I just play $1 tournaments on Poker Stars. And I would get to the bar I was DJing at on Saturday nights, and I would start up the computer and I'd play from, let's say, 9:30, 10 p.m. right up until about midnight when the dance floor was just about to get jumping, or if we had bands, if they were going to stop and this and that. And then I'd have to, like, somebody take over if I made the final table. I did not bad, actually. Tiffany Lava Shark, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Well, Mark the Shark played for 7.5 hours. Took second place out of 193 the other day. Great. What is the currency of Poland? Oh, I wonder if that's tricking me. I think I know that. Yeah, I think everybody who's guessing one is, I think you're guessing. And I think Catherine in St. Louis got it. But I just think that. I could be very wrong. I've been accused of being Polish. I had, oh, wow, you all got it. Wow. For some reason, I thought it was the other. I thought it was number 3. I don't know why I thought that. You guys know better than I do, so you probably know why I thought that too. I've been accused of being Polish. I had DJ'd in a Polish nightclub at least once, and people would walk up to me and just start speaking in Polish. So I guess I must look the smallest bit Polish. I'm adopted, so I actually don't know my history, not truly. Oh, I'll let you guys read that question. I'm going to butcher that last name. Matty J88 plays too. I don't know the truth about whether we're allowed to play Poker Stars and things like that on our channels. In all this time, I haven't actually looked to see if that's possible or allowed. Wonder if I should look that up and see. Oh, you played monthly, Matty J88. I forget which system. Forgive me, Mark the Shark. You probably told me 3 times now, and I forget how. I forget if you're on Bodog or which one you're on. If that's how you pronounce that too. Oh, Bovada. Okay, if you pronounce it that way. I think if I remember right, because it's been a while since I watched, I think Mark the Shark was saying that you don't have names over there, you just have numbers at the table, which kind of equalizes it a little bit. Look at that, Andy and Maddie up at the top again with Canadian Family like Tiffany. So, I'll tell you what, let's move on to gaming. I know we did this one before, I don't know if everybody liked it, but what we'll do, I'll try to remember when we get close to the end of this in about 15 or close to 20 minutes. I'll ask everybody which of 2 or 3 categories you want to go on to next. We'll do gaming right now and see how that goes. Yeah, I always wonder. I know there's lots that we do on YouTube that we get away with that are actually not supposed to be done. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to be drinking alcohol. I don't know if actually gambling is a problem, or if it's not a problem as long as you're not soliciting gambling or encouraging it. I'm not sure about that. I have to look at that. Oh, is Poker Stars altogether gone in the US? Oh, can you imagine after all that marketing? I used to enjoy poker so much. I've only been playing for, trying to think how long, maybe 15 years, something like that. I just learned from some friends, lots of family games and stuff. And thank you, Canadian Family Life. I used to watch the TV shows too. Oh, Vegas and New Jersey. Yeah, they've done a weird thing here in our province of Ontario. Online gambling is allowed, but each of the companies have to have an app, that I believe is specifically just for that. I could be wrong. I haven't tried any of them. And then thank you, Jesse Miller. Thank you. Check in with Wolf Spirit Productions I was talking about right there. They haven't streamed in a couple of weeks, actually. They really calmed them down. Oh yeah, something happened with Bitcoin, right? Yeah, Bitcoin jumped 7% today. And here we go. Roller Coaster Tycoon was programmed mostly entirely in which language? I bet I know. But that's because I happen to be an amateur programmer. Possibly a little bit better than amateur, but that's only possibly. I don't know how you gauge that. Is everybody guessing, or did a couple people have time to Google that very quickly before answering? Oh wow, I would have been very wrong. Oh, I don't even know how to I haven't even looked at assembly language or like that particular idea of it to have a clue. I thought it was C++ for sure. But that makes me think that programming was probably pretty hardcore. Oh, maybe something glitched there. Is something wrong with the game? I'll keep an eye, Andy. Maybe something's wrong with this. It's all saved from last week. There shouldn't have been a problem. Which one of the following titles by Valve is not based on a community mod? Oh, hopefully it's going to work this time. I still don't know why in 2023 we have so many glitches in computers and everything. Yeah, I don't know what that was then. This one seemed to have got it. I wonder if that's going to calculate at the end or not. A lot of imperfection with this live reacting system. You know, hopefully they're starting to make enough money that they can put some programmers on it and try to fix some of these things. Like the microphone. Which of these is the name of a cut enemy from Half-Life 2? Yeah. Yeah, Andy's grasping at straws on that one. Wow, I wonder how many people guessed that and got it. Oh, really? Oh, Matty J88 got it. Wow, I didn't know that at all. Who created the 2011 video game Minecraft? This I feel like I should know. I'd be guessing, though. I have to admit. You imagine single-handedly making a game and selling it to Microsoft. Oh, I forget. I don't even remember how much money that was for. Uh, had to be hundreds of millions of dollars. For some reason, I'm thinking 300 million, but I don't know what it was. But Minecraft is just out of this world. I see merchandise and things everywhere. Yeah, Marcus Person. I might have chose that answer, but I would have been guessing. I had heard the name a long time ago, but I think I'm just not keeping up with these things as much as I thought I was. Who was the protagonist in Dead Rising? Maybe this winter, when I have a little bit more free time, I'll try playing a few more games than I usually do. I always default to Grand Theft Auto. Puppet Short Films, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Puppet Short Films really does a very unique and incredible job with their videos on their channel. In Fallout 4, which type of power armor is first encountered in the early mission when Freedom calls in a crashed vertibird? Is that how we pronounce that? Oh, wow, 1 million views. That's a wonderful milestone to hit, Puppet Short Films. That's no joke, eh? Our moon, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Puppet Short Films. And, one of the things I often say to everyone, especially on the other channel there, is things like, the good along with the bad, hopefully much more good than otherwise. But every time something happens is the first time. So, as soon as you say to me you've hit 1 million views, that is impressive because not everybody gets there, right? But that's your first million, which hopefully is, motivating. Uh, I'll let you guys read that because there's quite a bit that I'm not going to pronounce properly. I'll struggle. And thank you again, everybody, for playing along. We've really just started. We're not even halfway through. We could stay well over another hour if everybody would like. Which of these characters in Undertale can the player not go on a date with? I forgot to turn off the DVR setting again, probably. That will help. We don't want anybody to fall behind. And there we are. Yeah, one of these days, hopefully I'll give a try to some of these games. Undertale was like award-winning, I think. Probably in many situations. I always wonder how many people guess puppet short films. And then thank you, Joe Valdez. I saw this when I was loading the questions. What system was Tuhu? Is that how we pronounce that? Highly responsive to prayers released on? So I did say I was going to let everybody pick the next category. So there you go, PC98. Interesting. I wonder if Maddie J and Catherine and Joe knew or guessed. And then if everybody wants to pick, I'll let you decide whether we move on to music or movies next. And then we'll choose between two more maybe as we keep going on. So movies or music for trivia as our next category after this question. But don't let it interfere with answering the question right now. Tandy computers, yeah. Before Atari was making them. For those of you in Canada, you know, Canadian Tire used to sell computers. My dad worked there. He used to take us to work with him when we were kids sometimes, probably on long weekends and stuff, I don't know. And they used to sell all the Atari computers and Coleco and everything, if I remember right. And I used to just sit there and stare at them and want to play, and I couldn't focus on anything. Oh, Our Moon has an Atari. I never got an original Atari. My grandmother had made me a deal, and nobody in the family ever had an abundant amount of money or anything like that. And I forget how young I must have been when Atari was the thing, but I'm guessing 9 or 10 years old. And I remember her making the deal. I think it was $200 Canadian. And she said, if you come up with half the money, I'll give you the other half. But to a 9 or 10-year-old, I was making $5 a week as an allowance. It's so far into the future, it felt probably non-existent. So I never ended up doing it. When I did start my first full-time gig at 15, I was cutting lawns for a summer with a landscaping company, and I was so proud to go out and buy my first video game system, which was Nintendo. I got it years after it had come out, and I got 2 games with it. I got Pitfall and Castlevania 2. I believe was the other one. It came with Super Mario, of course. And thank you everybody for playing along. So Ara Moon, look at that. Jeremy D-Day is in the leaderboard, and Joe Valdez video game and movie. So let's just ask for another moment here if anybody wants to move on with movies or music. I see a couple of votes for movies already. Movies or music for our next category. I'll just give it a few seconds. Thank you, Maddie J88. And I will we'll keep it going for another hour or so. Oh, Cannibal, good to see you in the house. Looks like them in St. Louis are looking for music, but the abundant number of votes here seem to be for movies. So we'll go on to movies for now. We'll leave music afterwards. I don't think we steal each other. There you go. Valdez. So movies is the next category, and then we'll move on. Yeah, puppet short films, I took it off on this just because things are more casual here, and there's not really a great, easy way to make it look good. What I'm using is this system called Live Reacting, and the game is built in, of course, and all this. It's very similar to StreamYard, but doesn't have a lot of the features and things like that. Thank you, Rambling with the Brooms. Packing up some merch. We're going to do movie trivia now, yeah. And then I tried at least a couple of times putting the camera on, but the way that the templates are for the way that the screen is set up here and the way that it looks, where the answers are and everything else, it's all built in. And you can customize it all, but it will take an enormous amount of work. So to try to make the camera look good when it's really not necessary, I just don't bother. I'd rather leave the screen space for the game. This particular live stream doesn't need the eye candy that some of my other content requires. So in just another minute, we'll try some movie trivia. HonkTube, good to see you in the house. If anybody hasn't already given a thumbs up, I hope you will. They really do help. And if you have somewhere to share this, whether it's on Twitter, which is fast, or Facebook, or anywhere else, I'll appreciate that also. And thanks again, everyone, for hanging out. We can keep it going for another hour if everybody would like. Not sure how many categories we'll get through. I'll cap it at midnight. I'm expecting to have a long couple of work days. We're doing concrete. Some of you know that I work outdoors. Probably half of a full-time week, which usually includes a few hours Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But concrete is no fun because we mix bags by hand. So we'll literally go to Home Depot tomorrow, probably pick up 30 bags of concrete, and we'll mix them 2 at a time in a mixer. I lost my voice last September because we did four of the things we got to do tomorrow all in 1 week. And yeah, probably HonkTube. We're expecting to pour, but we'll see. The Queen song, A Kind of Magic, is featured in which 1986 film? I would be guessing this, but I think, I'll admit if I'm wrong, I would be guessing this, and I don't remember if I actually saw the movie. I think I did, the one I'm thinking. I'm just trying to guess the time, how old I would have been. I think I saw that movie at the drive-in, actually. If I remember right. I was wrong. I would have said Labyrinth. I thought that was it. I was thinking that movie. I don't think I saw Highlander. Scratching PPAs on the leaderboard. I wonder if that was a guess. Jeremy D-Day right in the top spot. Wow. What was the title of the first Bond movie released in 1962? I'm embarrassed to say I don't know this. I watched all the James Bond movies after Pierce Brosnan took over, and I don't really know a lot of the actors, not as many as a lot of people do. The only reason I know that guy's name is because he was James Bond in the first one that I saw, and then I saw them all after that. But I never went back to watch the earlier ones with like Sean Connery and stuff like that. My love, Kristen Welton, is in the house. Oh, HunkTube has VHS collections. Wow, if you keep those in mint condition, there might be room for those if you ever decide to part with those on places like eBay and Letgo, everything. I thought about going back to watch them, but I get set in my ways. I don't know what the story is, but I tend to go back and watch the same things over and over again, as opposed to giving new movies and TV shows and stuff a try. Kristen and I will watch television together, but it takes us a while to figure out which shows we might both enjoy. We have to try a lot, and I whine and complain about a lot of them. We watch things like political dramas I really like. So I did watch the whole West Wing, but I liked like 24. That was more action back in the day. House of Cards I wanted to like. I don't think I actually liked it as much as I thought I did. But then we got around to things like Ozark. I like that, actually. I like that show. Billions is a favorite, like an all-time favorite. And we're working on that now. We're actually going back and watching some of the older episodes so that when the new season completes, because it's coming out now, then we'll watch it all at once. Yeah, books never happens. Yeah, Billions is something else. I don't know why I can't remember. I think there was another show that I liked a lot. Kristen will probably remember, but we have a lot of trouble with that because we typically watch different stuff. When we're just watching brainless stuff, she'll watch reality TV, where I'll watch sitcoms, right? So I'll be into like The Office and stuff like that, and I don't watch a lot of television at all, but if I do, that's where I go. But I have a list of like, I don't know, 5 to 10 movies to fall asleep to in a Netflix account, and it's the same things over and over. I rarely make time to sit and watch a movie for 2.5 hours. Mark Wahlberg played, how do we pronounce that word, character, of which 2008 video game adaptation. Succession. Succession is what, yeah, we still haven't finished watching that. I forgot about that one. Let that go a while ago. I don't know how much I think that's like House of Cards. I want to like it. I think that's why I like it. They do get into some really weird activity in that show. I didn't know he was in Max Speed. Pardon me. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Wow. Has been a little bit of an action-packed long day. I don't have this audio system. Well, I guess. Oh yeah. I guess I can mute the mic. Yeah. It's not easy though. It's not as easy as some of the systems. Wow, Puppet Show films played Max Payne. I remember that song was that game was huge. What Queen song plays during the final fight scene of the film Hardcore Henry? Yeah, I'm far too skittish to even take a shot at pronouncing that. Aramoon. Now I'm curious to know how many answers Stretch and PPA has guessed that are true guesses, or true attempts, versus pure guesses. Don't stop me now. We still got a couple of a few more questions, and then we'll think about what category to go to next. Oh, really, Hunk Tube? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, he had. I didn't. Oh, in the movie. Let's stick with something. Yeah, I watched that when I was a kid. I don't remember. I saw that when it came out. What we used to do was. I didn't see it in the theater. If I remember right, I watched it on VHS. But before everybody had VHS machines, because back in the day, in the early 80s, they were $800 or something like that. So there'd be like one family in the neighborhood that had a VHS, and then they'd have movie night and invite like 3 or 4 other families over to all watch at the same time. And then Canadian Tire is this one big store, and they used to rent them. So my dad worked there. He probably got a discount. I don't know. But we used to like rent a VHS machine for the weekend and rent a few movies to go with it. Which star actor was in Top Gun, Jerry Maguire, and Born on the 4th of July? So we do have one question. One question today that I would have gotten right. My bet is that everybody will believe me when I say that too. I don't even know who Kelly McGillis is. All right, let's see what's going to happen with our next question there. Is it really, Andy? Brendan Fraser starred in the following movies, except which one? Oh, wow, trick question in there, right? I've only seen one of these, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't in it. So. I was just about to go looking for Kristen. I wondered if she fell asleep. Oh! Yeah. Oopsie for R on that one. Yeah, I haven't seen those movies. I know Encino Man was like a really popular movie, but and that's it. Yeah, they tricked on that one. That was a trick question. And Encino Man, just to cover like the idea of the movie, is where I know him from. However, I still haven't seen it. I don't think so. Anyway, where's the birth name of Michael Caine? I don't know if I know who that is either. Puppeteer films. Oh, yeah. And thanks everybody again for hanging out, for playing along. We still got a while to go. If you'd like, 31 thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. That's wonderful. I really do appreciate those because they really do help. It's not just one video at a time that we're talking about, but keeping our YouTube channels active and the interactions that everybody gives, the thumbs up, the shares, the comments, like all that stuff really, really matters. So I appreciate it. Puppet short films on the leaderboard there too. Which of these films is not set in Los Angeles? I'm not sure whether I've seen all of these or not. I used to watch. I used to always be drawn to action movies, always, and then I don't know, probably somewhere around 40, I started switching to political dramas. I think after 24, that television show aired. I know I go on about it. I've been mentioning it like for the last couple of weeks, but in my opinion, it was so spectacularly done, produced so well, written so well. I mean, action movies are always going to have their cheesy aspect to them, right? They got to go overboard with stuff and be unrealistic. But when we think about television being television or movies being movies, then I just think it was so well done, and I don't know how anything could ever live up to that now. There was that movie Nick of Time, right, that was done in real time, and I know we talked about it here a couple of weeks ago, but we were talking about another movie or two that were done in real time, and forgive me because I've forgotten now. Nick of Time is one I think I've watched more than once, but 24 I just thought was spectacular. An entire TV series done in real time. On Tube, yes, that probably was might have been the end. Jeremy D-Day, good to see you at the top of the list there again, and Scratch and PPA in the top 3 along with Andy. So I did, forgive me, I'm behind. I did say we were going to let everybody choose the next category. So let's say we'll go with music or celebrities this time. Oh, puppet short films. Yeah, but puppet short films is on there this time. This is so casual. I keep missing the I don't mention the leaderboards and stuff like that on every question. Should be 7, yes. Puppet short films. Catherine wants music instead of celebrities. So we got music or celebrities. I'll let everybody pick for another second. Andy. Yeah. We used to make a joke, when we used to talk about, I know I mentioned it a couple of times, but when I used to be a DJ, the big joke was, are you going to DJ again? It's like, listen, they don't have enough security to hold the crowd back if I was to make another appearance. So we'll have to save that for another day. It looks like it might be music. I'll give it one more second and then we'll click. We'll get a 3-minute break anyway if anybody wants to get up or do something else. Okay, thank you, Puppet Short Films. And if anybody hasn't seen their channel, I recommend having a look. They put a lot of work into their videos. Let's have music, and then we'll pick another category afterward. We'll see where we are for time. We can stay up to another 40 minutes or so. That might give us at least one more category after this. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks for the shares. Thank you for the thumbs up. They really help. Thank you for hanging out. I know we get a couple people who might just be running the stream in the background or listening along, and I appreciate that. One-man band on the channel, yeah. But Puppet Short Films, I was fully impressed when I really sat and went through some of the content. That's another previously featured channel on Tuber Chat. Even I'm going to step away this time for a moment, and I'll be back in time to start the next question. Alright, thanks everybody for hanging out. We're just about ready to get into music trivia. We'll go to one more category afterwards. But I really appreciate everybody hanging out while we do this. It's been an experiment that's been going on for a couple of months now. Who had a 1973 hit with the song Hocus Pocus? I feel like I should know this, and I don't. Black's Homesteadish, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. watching PPA? Are you guessing? I think Pete was guessing just for fun. It was a funny answer. Oh no! Wow! I'm mistaken. I thought that was. I thought that might be a joke. Wow. As long as it's not AC/DC, because they'll get our stream blocked. It's the most disappointing thing. Pardon me, I'm eating something I shouldn't be eating now. Not chocolate this time. Who recorded the 1975 album Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. When I had DJ'd at that bar, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, the second song that I played in the stream where we had the dance floor going was Thunderstruck, which happened to be a request from somebody. But it's a good enough song to play, of course, right? And got the stream blocked, so I had to cut it out. So right away at the beginning of the stream, if somebody was to happen to go back and look at the replay, it's all choppy. Honk tube, no. No, I only ever worked there upstairs. There were a couple. I worked at that place for 14 years, and during that time, there were a couple of times that I had to work downstairs for special, different types of nights, right, as a DJ. But typically, no. It's very much separate. It's interesting the way that works. Was the best-selling album of all time from 1976 to 2018. I wonder if something overtook it. I wonder about that. I think it still reigns supreme. When I was a kid, my best friend at the time got that album, and we were, whatever years old. It was so long ago, and we kept listening to it over and over and over. But as kids, you don't have very much to influence you besides your parents, right? It's either going to be your parents or your friends or their friends and this and that. And they gave us, this kid had a Michael Jackson record, Thriller, and he had an ABBA record. And he was like, oh, I love ABBA. And he played who knows what it was, and I didn't like it at first. I don't mind them now and later on. I don't think anything happened after 2018. I think the reason that question was worded that way is because this system appears to be drawing out of ChatGPT, which the knowledge base in ChatGPT stops sometime between 2018 and 2020. But that's just a guess. The opening track, I wonder. Royals was obviously a big, big, big song. It's rare though that, I don't know how rare it is, but often artists make their big tracks mixed into the album. I don't know if that's just for marketing or plan, try to get everybody hooked on a couple of the things, but put a couple of good songs right at the beginning before the big radio tracks, so that people will become more of a fan of the artist than the song. I don't know. Chef Savory Bliss, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. I gotta get some new glasses. I have this fear. I've only got one pair right now, and if I lose them or worse, I'm gonna be really sorry. Which of these is the name of a song by Tears for Fears? That's been remade and remixed many times. Yeah, Andy, grasping its straws on that one. Yeah, actually, St. Louis 50. There is St. Louis by 50. There's a my favorite track, my favorite house track of all time now. It changes over the years, right? But there's one now by the Shapeshifters called Lola's Theme. So if you weren't into house music, you may not know the song, and it's not big outside of that genre. But I love that song, and I just happened to YouTube recommended me an interview with the guy who made it, and he was telling the story. But he was like, a lot of people would ask when he's DJing in places, "Oh, why didn't you play the song?" And he's like, "Listen, guys, I've been playing that song for so many years. I don't realize how old the song is now. It's still my favorite." But DJs, same thing. Like the guys who are making music or whatever, they just don't want to play their same thing over and over and over again. Heaven is a place on what? I saw Moby in concert, actually. They had this thing, I think it was called Area 1, is festival, and they came to Toronto, and they did it at Outcast was there. I forget who else was there. They did it in a huge parking lot, actually, on the water. Toronto's a water-based city, of course, right? And Moby, what he did was his very last song, he made a speech about it, but he said, okay, for my last performance, I have to, I love my, I forget what he called them, all the people in the band that were like helping him with the other songs, whatever, performing. But he said, this one I got to do by myself. And he played his song called 1000. And for anybody that's ever heard this thing, I don't know if anybody would ever listen to it out of enjoyment, but all it does, it just starts with a beat, and the whole song is just a beat, but eventually speeds up so much that it gets to 1,000 beats a minute. And with something else, they just had lights going and everything else. Kanye West Gold Digger featured which Oscar-winning actor? I think even I know this one. I don't know if I ever saw it. I don't know if I ever saw the video. Anybody ever see the Carly Rae Jepsen Call Me Maybe? You know, the one where she says, here's my number? If you ever, that is worth a look. There's not many times that I say, like, you should look this up and watch this video, but to watch the Carly Rae Jepsen, she happens to be Canadian, but if you watch the video for that song, if you haven't already seen it, I'm sure you'll be amused. Was she at the Grey Cup? Wow, makes sense, yeah. She's one that seemed to come out of nowhere and just go right to number one at the time. I don't know if she's going to hang in there with Justin Bieber and Drake and Weeknd. How many strings are there on a cello? I think I know this. Oh, with Gordon Lightfoot, yeah. How many strings are there? I think I know this. I used to play in band. I got there late. I decided to do band late when I was in 6th grade. So I was left with what at the time was a French horn, and then the teacher switched me to a trumpet like the next day. So I played trumpet right into high school, and I wanted so badly to play drums. And they gave the drums to another kid in grade school because they had an older brother who was actually a drummer, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to let them do it because they could practice and everything else." When I got to high school, I just wanted it so bad that part of me, the teacher would let me play drums a little bit. They'd let me do things like the triangle and the timpanis and, the stuff that I didn't actually want to do until the high school drummer graduated. And then for the last 2 years, I was the high school drummer. But through the time in band, I should know. Well, I think I would have been right. Yeah, triangle. Oh, goodness. It was one thing, even with drums, they make you do like a lot of drills, if you want to call them that, or, repeating patterns over and over and over again. Really, really, really boring things, even when you're playing on the drum set. But the technique later, I'm so grateful for. I haven't hit a set of drums in a long, long time, but I'm confident that I could slap together a simple beat very quickly. I was never great, but just happy to have done it. Octube, yes. Oh yeah, Andy, yeah. A friend of mine had what would have been a good idea at the time. The accordion is played. I don't remember the guy's name, but as far as I understand, he's a Canadian guy who's like the best in the world or most known in the world for playing the accordion. The thing is, the guy's a much, much, much older guy, but there's nobody to take his place when he stops, let's just say, playing, right? And this is a long time ago, so it might have already changed hands and this and that, but he was like, "Oh, if your kid's into music, you should push him on the accordion because somebody has to fill those shoes." Yeah, bells and xylophone and all that. Yeah, Lark's Homesteadish. I had to do a little bit of all that stuff, but I guess I wanted it enough to stick around, and then finally I got to do it in the end. The Stock Explorer, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Oh, some of our friends will know this. Looks like everybody knows this. Oh, thank you, Jesse Miller. I haven't listened to enough Rush ever. Andy doesn't like Toronto. For the airport. I haven't been through it enough times to know. Yeah, I hear mixed thoughts about these things. Actually, our friends from Australia that I met up with this morning here, that were on vacation, said that they had a better time at the airports in Canada than they did in the United States. Less trouble, less questioning, and things like that. Scratch and PPA, wow. At the top of his game for music. So I should have asked, I think we're going to do one more category. Yeah, we'll do one more and we'll call it a night because it'll be pretty close to midnight here, and I think we got a very long day tomorrow, so we'll see. So what have we not done yet? We have not done celebrities. We have not done sports today. And we have the option of general knowledge again, which hopefully is different questions. I think so, though, because I did kind of scan them before we started. So I'll let everybody pick. We can do celebrity trivia, we can do sports trivia, or we can do general knowledge, which will just be mixed up. Science, I'm not prepared for today, Aramoon, and it's hard to understand. Well, I don't know if it's hard to understand. It's weird to explain it, but in this system, which is live reacting, once we start the stream, you cannot go and change anything, which is really, really weird. But I can't start a. You have to choose everything you're gonna do before the stream starts. Oh, so I gotta count these up now because we're close here. So celebrities, general. I'll leave it for another second so you can pick. But I'll keep that in mind, Aramoon. That science was a request. And that'll switch to general knowledge. So let's do that. That'll be our last category for today. So we'll get a 3-minute break. And then, so these questions should be mixed up between whatever. And thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Or geography or biology. Yeah, I haven't done geography for a while. Biology, I don't think I've ever done as a category here. I'm not sure if this system is set up, but this system also allows you to just add your own questions in. So if you were handy with things like spreadsheets, you could just download, you could get ChatGPT to spit you out a bunch of questions, copy and paste them into a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet, and then upload them as probably a CSV file or something like that. Oh wow, Lark's Homesteader should be a fan of that too. Yeah, animal science specifically is something we haven't done. We did animal trivia. I think that was last week. And then we've done science, which was, if I remember right, when we tried science, it was a little bit weird because the questions, I forget if it was science, but I think it was, were not as expected. Some of them, anyway. So, Prime Minister blunders, yeah. Any political blunders. It's so funny too because these days, I don't talk about it much, but these days, people get really angry with politicians and say like, oh, this person lied, we've caught them lying and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but since when in your life did we not think that every politician lies? There are what you might call good politicians out there, or, depending on how everybody looks at it, some who, let's say, care. I'm sure they're all stuck in between a rock and a hard place in their own way. But I have seen some politicians who go the extra mile, let's just say, to try to work for the community that votes for them, let's just say, or at least gets involved in community events and things like that, actually shows up, for charity events and things like that, which I think is really cool. Oh, rambling with the brooms. Yes, no, I should not say all politicians are absolutely not. Yes, but I'm sure. I think when people think politicians, I think they're thinking more what we hear from the mainstream and everything like that. But I happen to know some. I happen to have been lucky to know some people who seem to truly care, and it doesn't matter because you're going to get it from one side or the other anyway. A doctor with a PhD is a doctor of what? Yes, Rambling with the Brooms is a city councilor, actually. I I thought about running once. I was living and working in a town, the same town in that place where I was actually DJing last week, which is 45 minutes north of Toronto in a town called Bradford. And because I was living and working there, this bar that I worked at, they had a marquee outside. They still have it today, but for 14 years I worked there, and they had my name that would be on it constantly, like every minute for 14 years. Anybody going through town had to go through that intersection and see. So I was very well known, at least by name. And for anybody that did actually know who I was, obviously it's all positive, right? Not that I expect everybody to like me, but you're known as a DJ, a party guy, and I got to know enough of the people in the town. I was there all the time to think that if I was to run for, let's say, city council, I wouldn't care whether I even got it in the first 2 or 3 runnings, right? The idea is, even if it took 20 years, what does it matter? Because I'll probably get it eventually, right? And the idea would be, if this is where I'm going to make my life and I'm not going to move anymore, and this is where I'm going to be, then why wouldn't I? And I ended up not living there for very long. 3 terms, rambling with the brooms, 12 years. I'm sure it has its, I'm sure it can be demanding. I knew one city councilor, I've known several in the town I'm talking about, but in that town, one of the guys, what he did was pick up a bunch of the jobs that, part-time jobs that, let's say, a lot of different people wouldn't have wanted to do, and then that worked out to be a full-time job. So he was the job kind of the jobs he had would reinforce everything, because he'd have to be around town all the time, talking to people, being seen, being known, and things. Rambling with the brooms has had enough. Yes. It's probably I wonder how demanding it must be, and not to mention how much you must get in public life. You're trying to grocery shop, and somebody's going to come up and snap about something they don't like, and probably be mistaken and things like that. Take a moment and watch the City of Los Angeles city meeting. As a joke with my family, when everybody gets distracted with conversation and everything, I put I think it's our channel 67 or something, the Ontario Legislature channel, see how long it takes everybody to notice. It's like watching C-SPAN, but for Canada. There you go. Wow. My guess is that everybody knew that, or even if you were we were guessing, you had an instinct to know. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody in the chat, but thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks for playing along. And thank you for those thumbs up. We did really well today. 36 thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. Those really do help. I'm trying to keep the channel active lately. Lots of Jewish friends, yeah. Was the name given to Indian food cooked over charcoal in a clay oven? I know I say it all the time, but I promise you, I have as much to learn in these things as anybody. I feel like a lot of times when I see how many people are answering with such certainty so many of the questions, I wonder if I would end up dead last. And after most of this, we'll go through 6, 7, 8 categories of this. Aramoon, nice to see you back in first place. Any Heinriches? I've been lucky enough to go a few places, but not many. The older I get, the more I realize a lot of people have been a lot more places. But I tend to be cautious when it comes to the idea of, let's say, the finances involved when it comes to going anywhere. Lark's Homesteadish, yes, I can imagine. We mixed it up a bit today too, actually, but I think this system is drawn off ChatGPT, and there's nothing wrong with that because obviously it's a wealth of information. We're assuming it's all true and right or correct, but we're not getting very deep into some specific subjects. Let's just say. That one I believe I would have gotten right. I remember paying attention in that particular class. For whatever reason, as much as I didn't follow through with a lot of geography or enjoy it, which I wish I did now, of course, we look back and I wish I'd have done a much better job because I have to look at a map way too often these days, in my opinion. Where does water from Poland Spring water bottles come from? So I think I know this because it's my favorite water. I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time in the northeastern United States, and Poland Spring water, if I'm right, is the one with the green label, is the cleanest tasting water of all. I insist that bottled water, every single one has a different taste. Aquafina, Dasani, in Canada, our Nestle water, all the no-name stuff that, and everything else. I feel like there's something in it. Poland Spring is literally tasteless. It is clear, crisp water. I used to come home with cases of it. The one that's the closest here now is from Costco, actually. I think that Costco is probably my favorite bottled water because we don't have Poland Spring. Evian, yeah, I haven't had Evian in a long time, but I think I remember liking that. I used to really be into like Aquafina and Dasani, but I insist that they have very distinct tastes. I think Coke and Pepsi are putting something in those. If you ever go and start looking, I don't know how true it is, but if you go and start looking at like the investment companies that invest in Coke and Pepsi, I had said my whole life as a kid and a young adult, I was like, wouldn't it be the biggest scam in the world if Coke and Pepsi were the same company? When you go and you look at the investment portfolios of BlackRock and everybody else or whoever else is involved in these things, sure enough, it's the same companies investing. I haven't tried Smart Water yet. I thought about it. There's one here too. I haven't had Fiji water either. I know that's in a lot of movies and stuff. I've seen it a few times. Why can't I remember the name of the water we were using? Kristen and I were making wine for a little while. For the life of me, here in Canada, it comes in green bottles. Actually, Home Depot sells it. I forget who else has it. And it comes from her hometown, I think, of Shelburne. Yeah, isn't Fiji like $4 a bottle or something? I think it's like as much as Monsters are. When possible, I try to I try to buy everything in bulk, cases and cases. Battle Cats. Lori's Tech Time would get this. She plays Battle Cats all the time. Water's poison, drink beer, yes. Volcano water, interesting. Andy's making me laugh. Oh, is that what that is? Honk tube? Yeah, Nestle seems to have a chalky after feeling or taste or something. When you drink a lot of it anyway. Yeah, there you go. Interesting, Honk Tube. I think that's almost actually true. You were Catherine, wow. So we just got a couple more questions to go. Thank you, everybody, again. If you haven't already given a thumbs up, I hope you will. They help even after the stream is done. It's really just about activity on the channel and interaction of any kind. But thanks, everybody, for playing along. What is the official language of Brazil? This one I happen to know. Battle Cats is a game. One of our, many of us here in the chat know of a channel called Lori's Tech Time. I'm sure a lot of other people play it. Battle Cats is a huge game. I've not played it yet, but I recognize it because when I look at the channel, I see the thumbnails all the time. And I believe that she plays with like multiplayer. I think it's like one of those, what do you call the card trading games? Like Pokemon and I haven't played them. I forget what the names of these things are. But I could be mistaken. Yeah, thank you, St. Louis, by 50. Thank you. I appreciate everybody keeping me company. And keeping the conversation going, too. Most of you know I love to talk, and you give me a chance to tell a lot of stories over here. Oh yeah, thank you, Lark's Homesteadish, yeah. And Resident Evil 3, how many inventory slots does Jill have at the start of the game? Is that true, Hawk 2? Is that true? You know who, I don't know if it was the first show to do it, the Love Boat, the original Love Boat show back in the day, used to bring celebrities on all the time. And I thought that was cool as like a mashup kind of thing. You'd always wonder who's going to be on next. I feel like I remember as a kid watching that with my parents and stuff. You know, when you're a kid, you just watch whatever your parents are watching or your grandparents or whatever. Or, you know, if you happen to have something like that going on. Oh, is Love Boat on Pluto TV? They did a remake of that, and I always thought that would be a great show to bring back because the cruise industry has just exploded, especially now, it seems, after COVID. Now we've got all these people, not just on YouTube, but on social networks, YouTube included, bringing so much cruising content, but they tried to bring it back a couple of years too early, I think, and it only lasted a couple seasons. I looked it up. I didn't even watch it, but now I think it would be interesting because there's so many big celebrities. You know what I mean? Could you imagine Taylor Swift going on to the Love Boat? The audience that would draw? The plane. Oh, Baywatch is coming back. Interesting. So Joe Valdez, good going. Wow. Along with Andy and Scratchin', PPA has been up at the top of the leaderboard a few times today. So thanks everybody for playing along again. Thank you for keeping me company. I really have enjoyed these, and I'm tossing around in my mind what to do about these because we're now at the end of the summer. So I want to see if it's time for the next thing, or what we're going to do. But whatever it's going to be, I'll try to post within the next few days. And I'll try to drop a video this Saturday if I can get time to edit something up. But thanks everybody again, and hope to see you all again soon.